You know, recently on this show, I pondered the possibility of President Obama using executive powers to provide reparations for past misdeeds in America, including slavery, Jim Crow laws, and various forms of discrimination. Now, I got to tell you, I was roundly criticized from this. I mean, beaten pillar to post all over the place, including Twitter, for saying really out loud what has been demanded in the black community for decades. Still, I think I'm right. Although the way it will be done, it won't be about mailing out a bunch of checks with an apology letter. The goal of this administration has always been, well, actually it has been put into hyperdrive right in 2013, when HUD announced its ambitious project to map every single neighborhood in America. We're talking about the wealth and the different people that live there based on ethnicity and skin color. Now, the goal, of course, is to ultimately force integration into wealthier neighborhoods that lack racial diversification. The administration insists that this is the perfect way to address inherent unfairness that has perpetuated the economy, that has led to social imbalances, will move black and Hispanic families into rich white neighborhoods, and it's going to serve the same purpose, in my mind, as 40 acres and a mule. While nobody will call it reparations, it certainly does fit the theme, the overarching theme of social justice, and it's going to be even masked with the goals, the real goal, though, in my mind, of President Obama. And it's not really reparations, right? Ultimately, for President Obama, it's about cobbling together the perfect utopia. I think that's always been his main goal. A centrally planned nation where there are no super rich, no super poor. You've got just a few wise men and women, and they take care of all of our needs, all of our wants, and outcomes. You don't have to worry about it. It's predetermined, but it's going to be fair. All citizens have to do in return for this wonderful utopia is give up all your constitutionally guaranteed rights and your individual ambitions. That would be transformational. Now, for America, it's never happened, but in history it has. And I got to tell you something, it's never worked. Ask the North Koreans. Yet, before this month is over, HUD will unveil the next step in this great social experiment. It's an engineering project that has never been seen before in American history. Now, the good news, if you don't like your neighbor, you may not have him sooner or later. Now, the bad news, if you don't like your neighbor, you might be the one who's forced to move. All right, guys, I got hit pretty good on this before. Everybody's beat me up on social media. But I'm telling you right now, I think this is another big government utopia power play. And one of the people that hit me up really hard on the internet was Eric. Eric Gusher's with us.
Yeah, as you were talking about it, I was like, yeah, I did attack you about this, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's so far-fetched about what I said?
Well, there are a lot of things far-fetched. Number one, it's not a racial issue. That is one of the few components. But when you look at
it will be sold to certain people because that 2013 speech by the HUD secretary, by Donovan at the time, was to the NAACP, and it came under the scope of racial justice. A lot of things that President Obama does under the guise of racial justice is really about a big government utopian thing, and ultimately it's something, I don't know if he read Voltaire and he fell in love with it.
It's about fairness. No, it's about fairness, Charles, and when you look at these subsidies that people get, we talk about subsidies for the poor, but the rich really get the real subsidies. You get farm credits, income tax credits for restoring buildings. Look at Brooklyn, right over the bridge where rich people have moved into Brooklyn.
Where poor people used to live.
Where poor people
what happened
used
to
live,
the poor people?
They got pushed out.
Right.
It's essentially
But how come those neighborhoods look so much better now that the same building, the same architecture? What happens? How come that neighborhood wasn't good? Because what they talked about, you have Castro today, was grilled big time in Washington, D.C. He's now the HUD, in charge of HUD. More than likely the vice presidential candidate also, Julian Castro. And he talked about needing good homes, good transportation, good schools.
And every child should be
so
able
all
to
these
get
yuppies that are moving into Brooklyn and sending their kids to those same schools, that those schools get better overnight?
Not necessarily. As the schools get better and you get more income wealth in the neighborhood, then the schools get better.
The public school is going to change.
They do, because I believe that they do. And let me tell you why. When people have monetary power, they can demand more change than poor people. And that is what happens.
Let me bring an economist into this, John, because this whole notion that you can redress the wrongs of yesteryear with these kind of programs, I mean, we have been over 50 years with the Great Society and the war on poverty. And it kicked off when LBJ took a tour through Appalachia. You could take that, walk those same steps today, and those same people would be there missing maybe a few more teeth. That's the only thing that's changed. So why do they insist, or why do they keep selling us this when it doesn't work?
because it benefits those politically. It's a way of getting votes. It's proving to your most popular constituency that you're trying to work in their effort. You want them to keep voting for you, to keep voting for these various types of entitlements. That's what I think it's all about. This is a mess, this particular proposal. This has been around in Westchester County for several years, and all it does is lead to one lawsuit after another. I mean, you have the federal government trying to usurp zoning regulations, difficult to do.
Well, they're dangling, they're going to try to hold states and local governments hostage through other means. But Steve, you just went through an election there that was all about this sort of social justice thing. You had the left versus the far left. Not really great choices, but Chicago is going to be one of the epicenters of where I think this kind of thing plays out.
Yeah, no, listen, Charles, and I would like to drop off a lot of copies of the Constitution at HUD headquarters because they need to read it. Nowhere in the Constitution is housing and deciding where people live a power delegated to the federal government. I think you're completely right. This is central planning inanity that, by the way, will not work, but this is the end goal of liberal fascism. We will tell you how to think, and we will even tell you where you can live. This is ludicrous. Fairness, by the way, is often a code word, and I think it is in this discussion. Fairness is a code word for an equality of outcomes. And as Americans, we've always believed in equality of opportunity, not equality of outcomes.
Yeah, and I think it's, when you stop being rewarded for succeeding, then no one's going to try to succeed.